Hey, what's up? So we should be live. Sorry for blowing my nose. I'm super allergic today. Um, so just thought I'd go live spontaneously. I'm gonna work on this manga page. Green, I'm super allergic. You'll have to forgive me. But yeah, I thought I'd work on this manga page and just turn on the stream, and whoever is around can tune in and watch. I think this will be a good time for Aussie viewers out there that never have a live stream at a time that makes sense. So my apologies about that. And you'll get to see me working on this page, which is pretty complex, let's say. So I'm gonna work at my pace and try and figure out things. I have tons of references in front of me, but yeah, let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're from because I barely stream at this time. Um, so I'm curious to see. Let me actually open up the live stream in a separate window. An eyelash. Hey Luis, how are you? Hey Space Princess, hope you're doing well. Um, yeah, so I'm curious to see where you're from. Hey Phyllis, how are you doing from Spain? Cool. Yeah, so we can capture now some viewers from Europe as well. Space Princess from the UK. Cool. So just to give you kind of a brief explanation of this, so I'm working on my comic. Basically, manga is a Japanese style comic, but I'm not Japanese, so it could be considered just a comic book. UK, it's 8 a.m. Cool. Yeah, it's super early. Yeah, here it's 10:20 a.m. And the process involves a lot of different tools, a lot of different reference photos, a lot of photo manipulation. Luis, I remember you're from the Philippines. Cool, cool. Afternoon. So what you'll see me do now is I'm basically setting up the stage to ink. So everything you're seeing right now is pencil and preparation. So what I did was, this is really interesting. So I took a photo that I could work with, no copyrights and so on, and I actually did some manipulation on it so that it looks manga style. So let me see if I can find that folder. It's this, right? Um, and this is very much, it looks like a manga in terms of the screen tones, grays, stuff like that. So I'm gonna lower the opacity. And what I did was added quite a few elements of my own. So you see here, this building here, this robot, this bridge, and there's gonna be much more. I'm actually gonna draw on top of that and add my own details. But before we get to the actual details, I need to work on that other side of the wall that you see here. So basically, this is a walled city. Hey Matilda, how are you doing from Switzerland? Cool. So this is basically a walled city, um, to which all of humanity basically moved. So everyone, all of humanity lives in this city, and it's a beautiful place. It's green, kind of, green energy, futuristic, a bit futuristic. Um, and what I'm doing now is drawing basically the other side of that other wall to the right. I have a bunch of references, including my own drawing, by the way, which I've shared in a previous live stream. But let me see here. I'm going to open it up. Let's see if I can show it to you. So we'll add it just for kicks. So I'm going to add an image. And it's going to be this thing. It's a huge image. So just to show you, I'm basically working off of my own kind of thing here. So it's a huge, huge photo. You'll forgive me. It'll take a moment to resize. I still haven't gotten the whole... How can I resize stuff faster? This isn't the usual live stream, so hopefully it will be close to as entertaining, because I'm really gonna work mainly and kind of reply to some of what you're saying. It's not gonna be necessarily too educational, but here it is. So yeah, this is the kind of wall that is built here. And now I'm basically doing a different angle. So I'm showing it from, let me see if I can show you here, basically from the front, right? The front angle. There's an airplane, sorry for the noise. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to do here. I have this photo opened up in a separate screen. I can leave it up here. Really bother me that much. So yeah, and I'm gonna work kind of from that, at least for the sides of the wall. So let's get back to the live stream. See, a magazine city like 1000 AD or the wall city or making in Sahara Desert. Yep, that's exactly. So as soon as I read about that, I think it's Saudi Arabia, I'm not sure. As soon as I read about that, I was like, this is an interesting concept. So I'm gonna explore something similar like that. So yeah, let me open up my reference here in front of me. And if you have any questions, just about general stuff, even feel free to ask. I'm gonna try and get some. This is honestly extremely time consuming. This entire comic book manga endeavor. It's really, really tough actually. So I'm doing my best, but it's tough. So what I'm gonna do is it takes time. Meaning, so I have my clean pencil layer, and what I have to figure out is there's a bunch of trees there, a bunch of details, and I organize them in kind of rows. So I'm just gonna put that in. So it's gonna be some kind of a row of trees, and again, this is pretty symbolic still. I'm going to do this again in a pen in a finalized way, but right now I'm just putting in the elements to kind of figure out where I want them to be. And maybe I decide to remove some of these buildings that you see here so that I can actually see some of these trees and details. But you see here it's exposed, right? The wall is exposed. So it is important for these exposed sections to really show it properly. And then, of course, it gets tinier the farther it goes. Specific size and stuff I'll figure out as I go along. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? But this is the tough part where, this is really different from my watercolors, where I'm painting from observation. Here it's more about invention. This is the real challenge to me. This is really hard. Just to figure out, where to place stuff. I'm kind of grabbing inspiration from many different sources. I actually wanted to do this live stream for the inking stage after I have everything ready, but I'm just not there yet. So I'll do it for this kind of an in-between. And it's funny how much more confident I feel with watercolor to just put barely any details there and go for it. But in any case, yeah, so we have trees here, trees on the other side of the wall. Obviously pretty big trees, but that's fine. And then I could do something nice here in that opening. Either like an actual city element, or what could be fun? I could put a shuttle, because I do see like a shuttle concept here that I'm looking at. Yeah, this is like taking inspiration from tons of places. You know what? Let's put a shuttle on the wall itself. So the way it looks to me here, kind of oval shaped, and then there's an opening here, and I'm figuring out again the details after I'm actually doing something a little more rough here. I kind of lost the chat. Let's see. I'm gonna. I don't see it right now, but I will see it in. Get this kind of a capsule feel to it. You do see some details up. Again, this is very rough. I'll probably organize it in a different layer. Then let's put something like right. And the part that beveled outside, and this entire thing sits on a rail, right? That's gonna be here and disappear behind the buildings. This is really different from just rotating a piece of paper. You have to rotate your canvas quite. Yeah, that looks good, and that's gonna sit on top of the wall, and maybe that's a way for people to drive really fast, get from one end of the city to another, which I think is really, really neat. There's nothing better than a really hard challenge. Yeah, definitely Space Princess. It's just such a fun and challenging experience to see all of this come together and actually make sense. Um, it's so hard, you know, you're combining all sorts of elements and you try to make it look as believable or, you know, to make sense as possible. So for the other layers, and you can't see them right now, but I have like different shots zoomed in showing some parts of the city. Like here, robots assist people. Here's how the food is grown. It's a very um, futuristic way of growing food, I suppose. I'm gonna get rid of some of the unnecessary pencil lines here just to clean it up myself. And it's a long process. This page and the first page are some of the more complex ones. After I'm done with these, the next few pages are gonna be much simpler actually. Um, because it's mostly people, and believe it or not, people are faster and easier to draw than these kinds of large landscapes, especially ones where you have to invent so much. Some backgrounds are going to be quite simple, just bringing in assets, pre-existing, you know, scenes, and then editing them. But here's this is a bit more, um, you know, it's more important. Like it has to look good and interesting and believable. That's what I'm going for. Hey Vital lad, hello. How are you doing? D asked, "What country are you in?" I'm in Israel. Um, yep. And let's continue just on a concept level. These lines. I'm gonna go through here, and luckily I have my undo button and royally mess stuff up. I can just hit the undo. We're good. And yeah, this is a cool little robot concept that I really like. I actually think I'll place it maybe a little lower. I made a background for it so that I can move it. Let's actually try isolating that so that I can play around with its position, because smart me drew it on the same layer as the rest of the elements. You see a lot of this work is just very grunt kind of level. Let's remove side. And of course, there's the whole, you know, the fact that I'm working digitally is a huge advantage because I can just, you know, edit stuff and much more easily. This, and I don't know. I'm not even following if I'm doing the right thing now. Let's see that. Yeah, good. I selected. I think now I'm a bit confused. Let's see here. So I selected a robot, so now I need to deselect all of the. This is really confusing. And as I said, my apologies if this isn't super duper interesting. Just really shows the guts of the process. I think whatever line I have left here later on. I don't care to bring these lines with me. What I care more about is um, lose them from the main thing. But yeah, I think that's good. Just gotta fill in the blanks. So this is gonna be our robot line work, or let's say sentinel line work. That, and then I have these two are gonna be able to move together, and I can place it wherever I want. That's what I wanted. So now I think, kind of following the rule of thirds, I'm gonna place it somewhere around here. You see how it more, like here it breaks the bridge off, but here it's much more dynamic with the rest of the elements. I feel like it's a bit of a better placement. Again, this is the advantage of working digitally. I can move around. Of course, you can do that um, on a physical piece of paper. You can draw something and move it around on a separate piece of paper, right? I'm gonna make myself disappear for a second. Sorry, I don't want my mucus to show on camera. But yeah, so this is pretty much it in terms of the general layout of the city. I'll probably put another sentinel robot here somewhere in the distance, so I can actually do it in that same layer. I think somewhere around back here would be nice. I'm just gonna put in a circle, and then I'm gonna get a background by just painting it white. And all of these, oopsie, all of these elements will just, come together to create something that hopefully makes sense. I actually need to mark here. Go. And with that one, I can just kind of play around and place wherever I want. So just to show that there's something, watching over, or kind of these sentinels are, flying around the city and kind of making sure no one's in trouble, like that. Maybe sure, better. Hopefully the size dimensions make sense. And yes, slowly but surely you see how this shows up. Now I think I can probably start the inking soon. So I'll just start inking over the buildings. This is almost like my sketch. So let me show you. In Space Princess, I'm using a Huion Canvas Pro 16. I think it's considered old by now, but I actually really like it. I have tons of layers here. I'm gonna write it in the chat just so that you see it. Huion. If anything, it's probably a good deal now. I'm not sure what it's priced at now, but when I got it, it was for about 350 or 360. I got quite lucky because someone was selling theirs here locally. Otherwise, I'd have to pay like crazy shipping costs. Here's my sketch underneath. So yeah, now one thing I'm missing here is a couple of more modern buildings. So let me do that. So let me show you how I do this. This is fun. So this is my pencil layer. And all I have to do is open up a reference here, like just find something that looks like a nice futuristic style building, and just lay it into this. So the way I do this, actually, let me find a good one, and then I'll show you how I do this. This is where understanding what you draw becomes really important, because that's the only way to change things so vastly. So thinking, what should it be? I actually really like this building, so I'm gonna save that photo to my projects folder, and I'm gonna show you in just 1 second. Useful reference photos, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna get rid of this. This is no longer necessary. Yep. So let me show you this. This is really cool. Image, and we'll bring. Okay, so I'm looking at this photo here, and especially the building on the right. This building, really, really, right? And I have no rights to use this photo or anything like that. I'm not using it, I'm just using it as inspiration. So let me show you. So on top of everything, and this is how you can use any reference photo you want if you know how to change it enough, I'm going to imagine this building with its orientation in space as this building. So the way I'm going to do this is first with the basic structure. So first off, this building leans. Where do I want it to lean? To the right, to the left? Actually, let's get it to lean a bit to the left. So this will be same base for the building. So let's say like that, right? And then I'm going to follow that same orientation to lean it to the left. And then I'm going to get this top part of the building, the overall shape of it, and just lean it back. It's supposed to be rounded, but I'm gonna use for now a square shape, and this entire thing pops out of here, you see? And then I can turn it around, so I can go like this, and this is a little tricky, so you may have to do it a couple of times. Something like that, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Then I'm gonna get rid of everything here, and you see I'm barely using the existing building, and I am barely using the reference because I'm just manipulating it to look kind of the way I want it to look. Now this feels a little too stilted, so let's make the front of the building flat. By adding this line here, I made it flat. It goes flat and then to a point to this edge, right? So a bit of a drawing lesson along the way for you. Hey Richard, how are you? Good morning. Hey Megan, it's good to see you. Yeah, I decided to stream a bit of a different time for all the Aussies out there and everyone who usually having a hard time tuning in. So one more element that you'll see in the building I'm working based off of is how the top plane is elevated. It goes flat in the back, like it moves in this exact direction. I showed flat and then it goes up. So let's capture that. The way to capture that is, and I'll probably lower. I'll probably go, instead of making this taller, I'll probably make this lower. So the way to do that is you go flat and parallel to the line that you already have. And then as you get to the front, you just increase the height like this. And you'll have the same thing going on the other end. Start low, and then you'll go up this. And now, if I'm having a hard time seeing it, I can actually mirror this thing and make sure that I got it half decent. You see, this actually looks okay to me. So this is how you work from a reference photo and change it enough, right? I wouldn't say it looks excellent, but I think it will work for our purpose. And then I really like how the top of the building is made, so I'm just gonna try and recreate that. Don't be lazy, rotate, being a little lazy here. Something like that. And then it moves down, right? Something like this and connects. And this is pretty much it. So I got something similar, right? Now it is important to show how this is beveled out. So this part is actually thicker and then the building itself is thinner. That's a cool little effect as well. And now don't forget, the top of the building probably has some place to, you know, some room to stand on, or you can add a bunch of elements if you want, like different, I don't know, power supply things, antennas, different elements like that, just to make it a little more interesting. And then flip it again to see, make sure it makes sense. Zoom out a bit and ask yourself, does this look good? Does this look like a part of the city? And yeah, and I actually like the building behind it, so I may end up moving this and using the original building, so I can just cut this out if I want to. We'll see, we'll figure it out. Then I can just decide, okay, I'm gonna place that here, right? Or somewhere else. I can even flip it, mirror it probably, if I want to, and have it move the other way around. But for now, it's okay. This position is okay. And then if you want to actually make it look like a building, you can start adding some more details, like the different layers or windows, stuff like that. That's a little beveled outside. So the way you'll show this is it goes here and then it goes to the flat front plane, probably at a bit more of an angle, and it's beveled out. So you'll get something like that. See here? You'll get an extra line showing that. And this is why you have to work with sketches, because it's really hard to get all these details in one go. You have to give yourself a couple of layers to see something like that. A bit rough, but I think it does play the part. Now, this I'll have to fix, make it a little clearer what's going on there. And then, of course, one of the beautiful parts is we actually have the windows in between. So we'll have a bunch of windows going in with the direction of the building, the way I see them. And I'm gonna make it just one layer of windows. I don't even need that separation here, I think. Or you know what, it looks good, so why not? Place that kind of in. That goes around there like this. Same for the layer underneath. Should have probably just got this in one line, but that's fine. Doesn't have to repeat itself perfectly, the pattern of windows. So, get another one of these, and you got a building. I used kind of the perspective of what I already had, and this is a pretty modern looking building, right? I can add plants to it or greenery. I can make the entire rooftop full of greens, like so. Imagine a bunch of trees or stuff up here amongst the, you know, the more human-made elements, and I think it's a really cool concept. I'm gonna save the file. Let's see who else is here. The Elysium layout would be a nicer place to live. Yeah, Elysium. That's so I think that's the film, right? I love that film. Richard, Israel is only 2 hours in front of UK. Yeah, definitely. And I'm not taking enough advantage of this to stream during the daytime. I probably should. There's much better, you know, natural light. I still have the colorful studio lights on, but that's just for me. But yeah, let me know how you're doing. Are you gonna so are you going to work? Are you gonna make art? Like, where's everyone at? Let me know. I'm curious to hear. And I'm gonna make myself disappear once again. And come back. Should probably mute myself too. Hey Ramesh, how are you doing? Hope everything is going well with you. So yeah, so that's how I kind of do it. I'm gonna place a bunch of buildings. You know, I actually want to move this away from here because I like the original. Here's what I'm gonna do. Select. Can I play around? I could probably do this and then flip it. Nice. Then maybe tilt it a bit to fit different placement. I actually like this placement, but now let's leave it here. Whatever. Maybe I'll just bring it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. I'll stop messing for now. And when you feel like you have enough elements like this, you can start inking, right? So I'm gonna add 1 or 2 other buildings like so. So I'm just gonna grab, so I see this thin building here. I know it's barely visible, but if I increase the opacity, you'll be able to better see it. And so on top of that building, I'm gonna add something. So I'm gonna still look for some of these, you know, more modern. Actually, there's something I really like here. It's like a green dome, but let's get a bunch of stuff here. There's all sorts of really nice references to help you imagine. And you know, a lot of people are starting to use tools like DALL-E and all of these AI tools. I find they aren't good enough to actually. This is a nice one. This I'm gonna save for future reference for sure. Let me show you. I don't even know how I'm gonna use that one, but we'll figure it out. Let me get rid of this, and instead we'll bring in this. This is really, really nice. So because this at the back there, it's a thin building, I could probably use this somehow. Or, you know, I'll just draw it in from afar. Let's actually start at the top. I'm just gonna place it behind this bridge here. So I need a thinner darn pencil. So we'll do this kind of, or maybe it's taller probably. So it'll probably reach at least up to here. And I don't like, let's get it over the wall in height. It's gonna be something like that. I'm just playing around with the idea now. And then it kind of spills in, and it has these pretty huge pool-like structures, right? And let's place another one behind that. Maybe a border here. And let's do this, make sure it works in perspective. Yeah, it works. You'll notice in terms of my perspective, it's a bit hard to keep track, but we're looking at it from above, so we have a very strong third vanishing, which means we have this, this kind of a thing going. See this little fanning? You have to always make sure you follow that. Now, this is easy because I have a rounded horizon line. So all you have to do is find the perpendicular line. So here it's this, here it's that, and you're good. Because I've been following that kind of a perspective all this time. So that should guide you pretty well. And the rest, you know, you rotate the buildings, you play around with them. Let me do this a bit here, and then I'll go back so I can see that. Space Princess, I'm not feeling because of my because of my chronic illness flaring up. So I'm thinking of relaxing and working on my own projects today. Okay, yeah, that's a fun day at least, right? Chirag Patel, hello, bro. You're doing great work. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Very challenging too. So let me continue this section. You know, one of the most important things is to actually look. And what I'm seeing is a bunch of, from around here, there's like connections that are made and then connect to other layers. So that's a really neat little concept. They spill. It's kind of a spillways or something like that. And then all of this down below is green. A bunch of green. And the way I indicate green is just, and sorry for this is annoying because you can barely see the slider. The way I convey green is just showing this kind of foliage here, you know. So many times to draw what you want, obviously there's no real reference to what I'm doing right now. It's an entire cityscape like that. You can't find a picture that is perfect. You know, purchase the license to it and just use that. You'll usually need to combine a lot of elements. This could be fun to connect this into this bridge, but I'll leave the two separate for now. Let's stay with the round. Get this kind of thing here. And yeah, and once you have that in, all you have to do is just go ahead and get rid of. Now, this isn't necessarily enough for me to do the inking based off of. I don't know yet. I'll have to try. Because it could be a little too abstract and loose. And I want it to have enough details and make sense. So I may end up doing another sketch layer just to make sure I'm actually able to work off of what I just did here. But this is a really nice building. And you see it starts to take shape. Let's add, because this is a really nice foreground area. Let's add to this area some nice kind of modern, not modern, futuristic style thing. Let's see what we can find. I'm just looking at photos on Google. I really like the idea of a building that is, I'll show you in a second. I've seen some buildings that are really combination of greens and foliage all across it. Let me see if I can find it now. Yes, that could be nice. Maybe something even stronger of a concept because it's so close. I want something with plenty of details. Maybe something twirly, you know? Maybe I could. Oh, I have a good idea. Okay. So you see, sometimes just something in the scene will capture your eyes. So I have this building here, this triangular building right here. So why not work off of that? So I'm just gonna do a bit of pencil over it so I can see it better. And add to that, so I've seen spirals go around buildings that look really cool. Why not add a bit of a spiral around that? Let me now make it light again. So the way I'm looking at a photo, let me show you. Why not? So again, this is a photo I don't have the rights to. So what I'm doing, can I copy and paste it? Yeah, that'll make it much easier to bring into the canvas. So let me show you. But then I won't be able to show it simultaneously. That's a no-no. Let me bring this photo, save it up, and show you again how you can use a reference photo to combine elements in a way that is completely transformative, right? And is legal. So I like the building here on the left, right? This thing here. See that? That's a nice concept. So I'm just gonna borrow that and bring in that kind of a spiral. Do a flying car. Yeah, there will be plenty of that. So this is meant to be the closest. But this is more based on public transportation because the whole idea of the manga, and you'll see if I ever finish it, a lot of it is ease of life. So you don't really own necessarily a car. You can just get anywhere as easy as you want. That brings up interesting storylines and questions, right? Or thoughts, at least, when you read it. I mean, some people want their own car. So let's see here. So I'm gonna get this spiral thing to work around this. So let me visualize for a second. So I think starting here will be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that design. Now it should go around like so. Something like that. Go back like this, or sorry, like that. This is and then just show disappear. So what I'm doing now is the place you can walk on. That's what you want to visualize. Let me show you what I mean by that. And the placement may change, you know. But for now, this is the place you can step on and walk. Here. Then that's the inner line. So it's going to be there. Probably oh, good. Like this. Words here, and here it should probably do this thing and go back from there, go over the building, and we're done. Now for the side plane. Side it's facing towards us. So let's do this. Let's do it inside. That's going to be a cool little goes here. See this? Then from here you'll see it go. And don't worry, I'm gonna make it like I'm gonna add some support. I'm gonna make it really nice. Or maybe, you know what? Let's make it taller. Not tall enough. So I'd probably go even this. Let me not be lazy. It rotates. Then this goes here. Goes. See how it all connects? And this is obscured behind the building. And here's other stuff. And goes around here, down to here, down to here, down to here, here, all the way down. And then if you want to add some support to it, that's actually quite possible. So you'll maybe connect it like this, right? This, all of these areas here, you can see those connections. And you can then figure out what these connections are actually going to look like. So you'll go with maybe like rounded cylinder kind of things. Then you play around with it, see if it makes any sense, if it looks good. That's an important part, because if it doesn't, we'll scrape that idea, which I may do, but I'm just for now trying it out. And look at it from afar and ask yourself again, does this make sense? This should probably be, let me mirror this and I'll figure it out. See? Here I wonder, won't any of these lines, probably. But this goes up. Oh, that's good. Actually, no, this support will be behind. Probably. You could add support just to make more sense. I don't think that's necessary even. But you see now, I took a concept and I kind of put it on. Now this looks very lacking in details, but once you start, adding the actual details of the building behind it, you'll be fine, right? That makes sense. Let's see here. Shirag says your journey starts with pencil sketch to brush color, and now you move into digital way. I really appreciate your work. Love you a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's. I decided at some point that's going to be the type of tools I'm going to use for this, because it makes more sense to me. I actually enjoy traditional more, as many of you probably know. But this is so much easier and space efficient. So for this kind of project where I'm such a beginner to this technique and everything, I really wanted to do something that will enable me to correct mistakes fast and easily, and I just really didn't want to have to struggle with that kind of. Digital is a much better way. So despite my big love for traditional, and I actually think my inking is much better when I work traditionally, by the way, I'm willing to put in the work to learn how to do this instead, just because I think it will be easier in the long run. And I have 282 pages to. The long run is important, but yeah. Or maybe change. Pieces I'm disabled. I don't like public transport. Makes sense for sure. Yep. Yep. Space Princess, I'm the same. It can be exhausting, scary. Yeah, I'm so used to public transportation here, but now in the last couple of years, it's been more, my own car. Space Princess, I really love that spiral building. It would be fun if the spiral bit was a slide to get from top to the bottom of the building. Yeah, so, that's actually a cool idea. So I have a neat little thought. So imagine inside this thing, there's a capsule. Maybe it looks something like this. There's an actual capsule inside, like that. And you enter it, and you just sit, you press a button, and it just slides all the way down. That's really cool. That's really cool. If I have a chance to show it, I will. And this is entirely transparent. That's a really cool thought. Let's zoom out, see what we've got so far. So yeah, you see it starts to look like an environment, right? Like something that would make sense for a, I suppose, for a futuristic type of city, right? This foreground is a lot of opportunities that can be taken advantage of, and to really bring it out, the impression. I actually really like this. This is still one of my favorite parts, this bit here. Really like this part. So yeah. Tiffany, hi Liron. How do you get into the right headspace for making art? The right headspace for making art to me is zero thought. You can get to a point where you just don't think, you just do. That's the best. Now, you may think to yourself, well, I don't know the techniques, I don't know the how-tos, right? I'm still very inexperienced, but that's actually okay, because I think the best way to even practice these things is to have no thought. The best art I make is when I'm just doing, a big part of it is, especially with painting, is the time just disappears. It's not an element. It's not something that I feel or I'm aware of. I have no worries at all. And I guess some people don't yet know how to enter that stage, but it's there for you. It's accessible. If you focus on the doing part, the rest really doesn't matter. That's the right headspace. You don't need to do anything. Just be. Pierre, how are you? Hey, Liron, this live stream is a surprise To me, yeah, it is. I mean, you know if it's a surprise to you, but it is, yes. It was a spontaneous decision. I've just planned, honestly, to work on the. And by the way, I saw your email. Um, I missed an email and then I saw it. Let me see. I missed a bunch of emails. Which is the one I saw earlier about the color mixing, I think. Yeah. Let me organize my windows for a second. Yeah. Yeah, I actually am familiar with that book. Um, I find these things too confusing as well. I just like to keep it simple. That'll be probably the best answer for that question. Um, yeah, I'm more simple-minded that way. I just have my bunch of primary colors and I use whatever I want whenever I want, pretty much. Um, but yeah, I decided to do the spontaneous one. I was gonna work on this, sketch it out, draw it, ink it anyway. So I decided why not live stream it while I'm doing it to get to a lot of people who usually the time isn't really good for them. It's either in the middle of the night when I stream or super early in the morning. Space Princess, yes, that's a really good idea. Yep, yep. Just slide down the building. That's always fun. Let's see here. I think that's a pretty good point to just go ahead and turn this layer opaque and very transparent and just start inking. Honestly, I'm thinking what else would I want to do. I mean, I am lacking a few tall buildings, I would say. Um, Probably would like to show some more height, but I could just extend some of these buildings out to make them appear taller. Um, so maybe we can get started inking this, I guess. Yeah. So this is a bit more careful work. So I'll get started. I don't know, like this feels to me like something I should be able to do in a live stream pretty easily, but I may be mistaken. So we'll give it a try. And I have another kind of random building I brought in that I'll later on I'll edit as well. Actually, let's bring it now, and let's turn it black. Right, gray. So yeah, I think I'll go ahead and ink. I need a layer that's gonna be ink, and that's the hardest part for me still, because it's digital. That's why I'm still working on mine. So I think do this, lower the opacity, pretty much everything. And I love the name of the layers. Organized sketch. Okay. So let me get my pen here. So I like to use this kind of a G pen. So it has quite a lot of width variation. Now I don't need this huge of a, obviously. Let's see what this looks like in the grand scheme of the page. So I'll probably maybe 40 or much. Yeah. Yeah, let's do 30 and take it from there. So I'm gonna try. We'll see how it goes. So this robot is really close to us, which is why it's a good place to start. So the way this monitor thing works is, well, let's see how I do here. Actually, I have a nice little idea. Let's see here. I'll look for a photo of a similar thing. I don't like to look for references for every single thing, but sometimes it's a good good way of visualizing. Yeah, so we're looking at this from above, obviously, so we'll get something like this. Then it's gonna And of course you can use straight lines here in the software, but I want to go for a more organic feel. We'll see how I do. I wonder if this stage is even more boring in the process because I'm really just doing a lot of undos. So I'm back at the pencil. So you get the right line. A lot of lines. Mess up, but that's good. And get rid of this. Edges. So let's see what this looks like in the grand scheme of just wondering if I go back to my normal orientation. I don't want the lines to be too thick, but they feel a little thick here. Okay, let's get and this sketch here. Yeah, that looks good to me. I can work with. Good. So then I actually will go ahead and do this for the entire thing, right? And once I'm done, I can start figuring out if things make sense or if I need to change anything. Hopefully I don't need to ink the whole thing anew. But you see how time consuming this is? At this time I could have already finished like a couple of paintings. Oh, I actually made a huge mistake here. Oh no, I'm good, I'm good. Just did this line. And then I'm gonna connect them, and let's see what you're saying in the chat, because now I don't need that. Here, yep, like that response to color. I just have trouble working out what's warm and cool. Oh yeah, we talked about that a bit. So one thing to remember is that warm and cool colors are contextual. So a color can seem fairly warm in one context and then fairly cool in another. Sometimes it's not a clear-cut answer, and sometimes you can make a color look a certain way just because that's the impression you want to convey. I wouldn't be too married to the idea of, you know, is it a cool, is it a warm color? Like, if you can let go a bit of that and think more in terms of a scale. Like, is this cooler than that? Right? Is this warmer than that? I can do a video on the topic because it is something interesting. I think a lot of people. Oh, that's a nice line. Then, so this honestly would be much easier for me to do again physically on a real piece of paper. Even though I have all of these tools, let's do some more stabilization. Let's increase it to even 20, I would say. Let's have the software help me a bit. And this is like the harder parts of the inking because the parts that are a little more important, it's very close to us. So we got the monitor of this cute little sentinel robot. Go. Now I think I kind of messed up the perspective. So actually we can fix that pretty easily here. I'm gonna do the unthinkable. And zoom out. Yeah, we're good. And then it like so. And then I can fix the connections. Because one of the things I find the most challenging working digitally is remembering and keeping track of the full context of the scene. So it's very hard to remember, okay, the line should go like this, not like that. It's very hard to see sometimes when you work. You can zoom in so much, and you have to zoom in, otherwise I won't see anything. They can't really look at things up close, you know. So that would be a nice little front view. And I think I'll actually grab this entire thing and make it a little smaller. Fit in what I already have there. I went a little overboard. Like, maybe like that. Let's see now what we got in the, and this is a double page spread, so it's even more like vast. Yeah, that looks good. So if this looks good from afar, that's all that matters to me. And one thing, yeah, I know this line is a little awkward. This line is completely wrong angled. Like, I can put the rotation pivot point here. That was a bad decision. This, and we're good. So all of these tools are a nice way to counterbalance the fact that it's quite hard to do some of this inking work. And maybe my monitor just isn't large enough. If it was, it would have been easier. But one thing, again, to remember is, look at this entire cityscape. This sentinel is close to us. It's really close. And so it becomes a more important focal point, which is why I'm putting a bit more effort into it, right? If it were in the distance, you know, no problem, a couple of lines. Even this building, for example, or this building I drew, it's a little farther back. But this thing here is quite close. I may need to go over these lines, make them a little thicker, actually, because they're quite prominent. But in case, here we go with this. And so for this kind of a lens, I think I want to make parts of it a little beveled outside. Let me figure out how that could be done. So maybe this part. This honestly is where I would use a ruler to get all of these circles to look good. Maybe I'll do that. That makes a whole lot more sense. Let me play around. I'm learning the tools here. So if I have an ellipse, how will I turn this into an ellipse actually? Why is it not an ellipse? You know, I'm figuring out the tools as I go along. So it'll be like the aspect ratio or something, 1 by 1 locked. Let's unlock. Good. Now, just figure out the overall shape. Can I rotate? This is tough. So I can't play with the angle. Oh, I know what I can do. I can do this. There we go. Creative solution. Good. So for the overall thing, I want to figure out the dimensions, how I get it to be a little beveled out. It's an okay angle, but I can always rotate it. Sorry if this is incredibly boring. I'm just working on the manga, you know. Maybe like that. That's actually nice. And then, so the way to do this, I think, is edit, bit of a roundabout way, outline, on border. Let's see. Okay, so we get this kind of a thing. Now, what happens if I rotate? And this is too thick as well, but we'll figure it out. This, I just want to see where it's beveled. I can probably use this as reference and just on top of it. Good. Good. That's placed nicely. I think. I still haven't decided. We'll figure it out. I don't like this. Get rid of it. So you see, it's the tools are a challenge. They give you a lot, but it's also challenging. Flying firefighters, yeah, definitely. The more I can show, I will, but you'll see ambulances, stuff like that for sure. D, make the center into a turbine thing, and you'll need more screens around the rest of the globe. On the drone, a lot of wasted space for advertising. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. So here's what I think I'll do. Let's get this stabilization. Let's try and do this in parts, because I know, like, I look at it and I know how I want it to look. It's very hard to do mechanically. So oh, that's a good line. Great line. Like this. And then let me fix some of the here. We do this way. Yeah, these things do require quite a lot of patience. Now I want to show you what's going to be like the next part. That's where it's going to look really good. Oh, wait. Good. That's a little bit. And again, I'm zoomed in quite a bit. Zoomed out. A lot of this isn't going to show some. Even though it's a front, pretty prominent thing in the scene. What about everyone else? How are you gonna pass the day? What are you gonna do? I'm actually thinking of taking it a little easier today. There's a new episode of House of the Dragon. If anyone's they want to watch, they may have to wait for Mai to catch up. So here's where it gets really fun. So we can layer the different lenses and make it look really cool by way of making the brush a little smaller. Let's do it like 18 size. Look at what I'm doing here. I'm layering them in an uneven way to a quick line. That was really bad. I'm layering them, kind of hint that one is beveled outside or another is dented more. I don't even know what to call this effect, but this feeling here. Like so. See, this edge tells the story. The story, we need this edge right here. No, I got it quite skewed, but actually let's see what it looks like from afar. Because we're really zoomed in here. This actually looks good. It actually looks okay despite it being a little crooked. I can try fixing it if I want to. Let's let's do slight rotation like this and move it more center. There we go. This is a good placement. By the way, these robots, they have this small little screen monitor that can communicate. So this one is just happily doing its daily routine tasks. So that's fun. And a lot of the depth here is going to come from how I'm going to put in the layers of screen tone to show how some parts of the lenses really reflect the light. There's going to be highlights, shadows, a lot of cool stuff. Space Princess, I think this type of live stream is interesting because we get to see the behind the scenes of the manga art, and it's also teaching us new art skills by watching your process. Yeah, thank you. And think about it this way. This is, let's say, a 2-page spread, so it's a bit more work. But like, this is one panel out of a 2-page spread. So this is how time-consuming this process is. So I just made peace with the fact that it's gonna take time. I'm gonna work on it step by step. It's gonna be okay. And as long as it takes. I have 282 pages to do. Now, most of them, admittedly, are a little simpler than this one, for sure. But still, let's make the outside a bit thicker, just to tell a better story. So, yeah, and I'm happy to hear it's also a bit interesting because I'm not doing much here, you know, in terms of interaction. It's more let's draw this. Ooh, that's a nice up until this point. Now, usually I'll try having the heavier lines below, but I think this works. And then let's close it off with a line here. Thick, goes thin here. Nice little line. There we go. And I think it does have a nice feel. Like you could think this has, it doesn't feel traditional inking per se, but it does have some of the good qualities of traditional. Some unevenness too, which is fault of my lack of experience. But still, let's get rid of this for a second. We have this little tail here. Close off, and this is actually similar to inking on a physical piece of paper. You just get used to it, you know. You just get the hang of it with time. Get in the zone, it gets a lot easier to be accurate. So, Pierre, I'm doing a course on Procreate. The 10 million ways of changing a brush behavior is too much for me. Yeah, that's the one thing where you can really get lost in the details, you know. And I have very few brushes here, none that satisfy me fully. This is Clip Studio Paint, not Procreate. So I still need to get, and they're out there. I just didn't really put in the time to find them, but there are other assets or tools or, you know, brushes to help. I just need to put a bit more time and effort to finding them. Maybe buy a brush pack, I don't know. I really want this thing to look a bit traditional. Okay. So yeah, let's get another layer of the ovals. There we go. That's a nice little thing. See how when I'm less stressed, it gets a little easier. Still not easy enough, turns out. That's a terrible angle. Let's try like this. Sometimes you benefit from going faster, especially physically, but actually on the tablet, drawing digitally, I find that going fast isn't always the better choice. Sometimes it's better to go. That's good, and you see, you start to feel the layers of the lens. Now the next one, should I put it same as I did that first, or let's make it even deeper? Yeah, let's do something. See, that works nice. Makes it look like it's dipping inside. Let's mirror this thing and figure out if it looks enough. Yeah, that looks good. That was the easiest layer I had to do. This. Maybe let's do. See, the smaller the details get, the more you can kind of get away with. See, that's exactly how I envisioned it. Maybe the inner one should be low. Let's figure it out. Maybe get it here. Let's think about it first. Here or here. I think this is. This tells a really good story. I like that a lot. So you see? Now let's get rid of the pencil. There we go. That looks really nice. Continue here. We have a few more mechanical details. One thing I didn't really think of, instead of rotating, I can just mirror. That'll be easier. It'll be much faster for me to work on. I'm gonna leave a small gap here. Actually, this should connect all. So should be 2 layers because there's actually so this. Nice. Bit of a rotation and a bit of feeling of depth or whatever. By the way, this is where you can switch, let's say, to something like a felt pen I like a lot. So let's try that out for smaller details where you don't need as much line variation. See, quite good as well. I like the felt tip one, smaller details. Could probably do some of these as well. Get one. You know, these things you see them often on cars, and I really like the way they look. Now, as for this screw thing, I'll probably change it because I've seen something that I liked a lot. So this is gonna be beveled in, gonna be black here, and then maybe more inside. Thinner, probably thinner. Probably like this instead of the way I had it. So getting hungry. Megan, hi Liron. I had to take a call, so I missed a bunch of stuff, but I wanted to ask if you've watched any videos from Light Ponderings. Light Ponderings? No, I don't think I'm familiar with this channel. Let me check it out. Light Ponderings. Usually I remember names really well, so I'll be like, yeah, I watched something. No, I'm completely unfamiliar with this channel. I subscribed. I'll watch some videos later. That's cool. I see a lot of light and shadow, temperature. Yeah, interesting. Color relativity. Cool. I'll check it out. Really good. Yeah. Now I'm missing something here. Maybe this shouldn't be dark. Maybe it should just be like this. This is better. I should. I could do this double. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And well, we're pretty much done with our little robot guy. So let's do good. And we can get that eye in. So I will move a pencil here. Line work. Let's place this where I want it to be and then ink it. So something this sense. Let's mirror it a bit more to the right. Probably the angle could use some fixing. So, but we can do that in the ink. So I think we go like that. And then this should be a steeper angle, probably. And it goes here, up, and let's see what is. See the shape, and we'll see. Like this. I don't care as much about the accuracy because I'm gonna paint the entire background black. I just need it to make sense. So almost makes. I actually want to play around with its perspective. So let's do edit, transform, perspective. Let's see what I'm missing here. What do you think? I think now it looks... Yeah, that looks really good. Now let's darken already, because it will give us a nice little view of what this looks like. I can actually go ahead and do this probably. Yeah, good. There'll probably be some gaps, but no gaps. Cool. I'll just straighten some of these lines here with my I want the symbol element to be the light part. The rest of the screen is black. I don't know, I like that look. See, that looks really good. I like that a lot. So all of this work for this small little robot. Let's get rid of... See, that looks really nice. I like that a lot. Let's fix the background a bit, just so we can see it a little more cleanly. Grab my eraser and get rid of it. Go. And you know, digitally you can actually add so many nice effects. I'll show you in a second, even though that's for later, but just for fun, there's an effect that is very hard to do with watercolor, by the way. It is very simple to do digitally. That's the diffused light effect. You're seeing everywhere. It's being used everywhere. So you just grab, let's say, a little... Let's do this in a separate layer because I don't want to destroy anything, but like a big soft eraser. Yeah, not an eraser, sorry, a brush. Or a, yeah, airbrush. Then you can actually create this nice little, you know, diffused light effect around this. Show that this shines a bit, right? This is an effect that's very hard to do in watercolor. But here it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This looks good, so I might just keep it like that. Let's just add this layer to back to my... I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this a separate layer. Diffused. I'm really OCD when it comes to caps. Not that important, but for later. And there you go, voila, robot, really cool. And you combine that with a bit more of a realistic basis for the city. I really like the way it looks. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that process. Other than that, like, so is this okay? Like, should I continue? Because I could just, you know, stop the live stream and continue inking on my own, but I just don't want to bore you. So let me know if you want me to continue, and I'm continuing. So let's see here. Wondering if I have enough details to just do this thing here. Let's start with the building. Start inking the buildings. We'll see where this gets us. So I'm gonna use the same felt tip from before. We'll see how it goes. Bit larger size. And actually, let's go back to the layer. What's everyone doing right now? Like, they're just chilling, listening to this? Is there anything else you're doing? Especially for the... So this is basically tracing, right? I don't have to think too much. Let's see what this looks like. No, I like both. Let's stick to the G, at least for the up close. And I may leave the tones and layer underneath, or I may, honestly. Sometimes I don't even know what it is exactly that I'm. Yeah, so this may be very. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the felt. Undo this whole thing. Go back to my felt. Works a little better for. I'd be happy if you continue, says Space Princess. Thank you, I will. I'm doing some art while watching and listening. Okay, that's cool. So, one thing I wanted to watch, I wanted to ask you about. I want to start watching the new Chainsaw Man anime, if anyone's into that. And because I'll probably won't be able to watch House of the Dragon today, maybe that's what I'll do instead. So if anyone watching that, let me know your thoughts. I mean, it looks really good, and I enjoy the manga. It got very confusing at some point. I was, what am I reading? But for the most part, I enjoyed it all. So easy to lose sense of the orientation. I don't want to go into too many excessive details. But yeah, I don't feel like there's too many good stuff to watch. I'm not a big consumer. Anyway, most of the time I just like to create. You know, sometimes I'm such a distraction from creating. I don't know if you're the same as I am, but me, it's very easy to fall in love with different shows and series and mangas and animes. But at the end of the day, I find myself having to ask myself, like, do I want to consume content, or do I want to actually have time to create my own, which is like this thing here. And then I have to, do that instead, because it's really important for me. So for these lines, I am probably going to decrease the brush size and just go ahead and do these. Let's skip one at a time. And hopefully that will. But yeah, it's such a distraction. Oh, by the way, if you can leave a like on this live stream, it'll be cool. That way more people find it later in the day. Oh, and I have a video for you tomorrow, which I think you'll enjoy. It's gonna talk about taking a break and why it's okay if you took a break, and why you probably did not lose your art skills due to the break. So it's supposed to be kind of a reassuring thing and give you some encouragement in case you feel bad about that kind of a thing, or you didn't have much time to create. So it's going to be out tomorrow. I'll probably try to have another video on Saturday. I've been really slacking off on the. Yeah, that looks good. We finished one building. How about that? Space Princess. I really love the anime's Dead Man Wonderland and No Game No Life. Oh, I'm actually unfamiliar with both, so I'm gonna look them up for later. Unfamiliar with both. I actually enjoyed Castlevania, which is kind of an anime, kind of not, right? It's an American production with Japanese kind of collaboration. Dead Man Wonderland. Just looking to see if I'm familiar with the author or anything like that. No game, no life. That's cool. I just finished Solo Leveling. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's a really nice one too. Oh, hey Nikki, how are you? Hope you're doing super duper well. This is a surprise stream, just for fun, to see who will pop in and to share with you what I'm doing. Yeah, so I really enjoyed Castlevania. The first season was really good. And it's always like that, you know, once the main villain, in a way, is beaten, it takes some time to rediscover the meaning of the story. So I'm kind of stopped at season 3, I believe, or was it season 2? I don't remember. I think, yeah, I watched season 2, then I stopped at 3. I will continue. It's still interesting. The characters are quite interesting, actually, and I liked it a lot. I like how they established stuff there. Very interesting way. There we go. And there's a bunch of elements on top of the buildings. I'll probably invent those. And by the way, for the whole discussion of tracing, is it cheating, etc., look at what I'm doing right now. I'm tracing the heck out of this. Because if you want to create a super duper real impression, it's definitely possible. Draw everything, but it's super difficult. And I don't feel like it's worth the trouble, honestly. There's no need to redraw everything anew, and you can feel free to rely on different resources. To me, that's obvious. If I'm doing something a little simpler, then yes, probably put in more. Let's do some nice little. I'll do something a little more organic of my own. And you saw me, so again, if you join now, you see I added a lot of elements of my own, like a bunch of buildings and stuff, so it's still gonna look really good, I think. Yeah, it really is important for me that this looks good visually. I want it to look really good. And it takes a lot of work. I'm gonna take my own photos of stuff, including myself posing as the characters. So that's another thing that's really hard for me still. To invent everything is just really impractical. Do I need a hard eraser? Why am I with... That's why the size changed on. I love listening to music as I do these kinds of not repetitive tasks, but you know, things I can listen to other stuff as I'm doing. That's really fun for me. Some of these buildings I cut out really straight. I can actually get rid of. It's gonna be just this building. And once I ink, things are gonna get clear. Once I ink, I mean everything. I'm gonna see what's unnecessary, redundant. But this really needs to convey like a big sense of scale. You see, that's how slow it is. Nikki, I have been missing your live. So happy to see you here. Yeah, it's a spontaneous one again. You're doing great. Good, good, good. You are world building. Yes, I am. This is the main establishing shot for the manga, like for the setting. It's gonna talk about it, explain it. So it's really important for me for this to be like top notch, look really good, which is why I'm heavily relying on references. Let me actually show you, if I can, rough sketch. Oh, it is. No, not a rough. Yeah, you can see it here, but I can open it up in the live stream to show you the rest of the page and my plan. Let's do that. I want to show you what the plan for this stage, for this page is. So let's go to name this page. So this was kind of the initial plan I had. You'll enjoy. Now seeing me work on the final version, I think it'll be fun to see the crazy sketch stage I did. These photos are huge, so bring real task. But this is the original, and you can read some of the text as well. It's not going to be called a line because I don't want it to be called the same as the actual city is called. But yeah, you see, so this is a big establishing shot right here, which is what I'm working on right now. And then below that, I'm showing different elements of it. Right? So you have the robots basically live alongside people and play a key role in society. And yeah, so for this first, again, panel, I'm relying on a lot of different references and adding to them my own touch. So if we go back to that pencil there, you see, I'm making use of a lot of tools to make sure that this looks good and really has a great finish. This entire thing here, obviously, I invented. You know, the size of the walls and all of that. And I'm curious to see how this will all play together. It's gonna be really interesting. But yeah, that's my vision for this page in general. Your normal lives now fall at 2 a.m. for me. Oh, sorry to hear. Yeah. Yeah, I keep talking about how I'm gonna change the times and make it more accessible, and then I end up not doing it. So I'm happy I'm able to do that now. I will do more of these. This is just really fun for me, you know. Let's make the yeah, these are extremely fun. That was actually a decent. I'm gonna use my good old straight line. This just to give this the real challenge with working with tools like that is if you mess up a perfectly straight line, you messed it up. When I'm drawing them physically, I can quickly correct course as I'm drawing them. But here it's very easy to get all of them messed up because you're using, you know, some kind of a tool to do that. So that's another weird challenge that you wouldn't necessarily expect to encounter. But I'm going to continue with this line of buildings. Let's go back to a bit of a smaller nib and continue. So this is a nice little. I'm starting to get in the inking mood, getting a little more confident and fast with my lines. It's a point you reach sometimes that there's no way to force it. You just have to continue until you get there. That's me right now. Go. Something is completely wrong here, which has to be parallel to that one. This anything more sense. And this is a really extreme perspective, obviously, because we're seeing this entire thing very wide open. Very wide angle shot. Line here. And then let's add another really good. And I'm actually soon gonna have to stop. Not even the live stream, but just this, because I have to move on to other stuff I need to work on. I want to work on the watercolor animation, finally get that one done. So yeah, and that will be a little hard to set up for that. But yeah, let's see what this looks like without the under. Yeah, that still looks a lot. And now here we have behind this sentinel, we have a building that's quite obscure, so I'm just gonna keep that one simple. there. I don't even know if it's really there. I'm just hanging it. That's way too many lines and meaning. That's a little better. That. And the cool thing is the farther you get back, the more you can go fast and have the details, because they should be more simplified, less prominent. That's how you convey sense of depth among other things. Really messing up my straight line. So this is tons of work, but once this is done, hopefully it will impress people. You know, when you see this, you'll hopefully see the work that went into this. And it's very important as you get it done to not lose track of the complete image, you know, to make sure that it still serves the. That's one of the hardest things in painting as well, right? Everything needs to serve a purpose, and sometimes you get so caught up in a specific detail or a specific thing that it's easy to forget that the overall impression is much more important. So it's very hard. It's very important to pay attention to that here as well. It's interesting. Here I have this empty space, and I'm wondering what I'll do with it. We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's how I'm going to build it up. And then we'll continue here. Our third thing. I'm gonna change some stuff. Make it looks a little medieval if I put in a tower there, but we're not going for a medieval look here. We're just going for a fun, futuristic looking cityscape. There we go. As long as it looks good from afar, I'm good. This is probably the most challenging artistic endeavor I ever did. I can't think of anything more challenging than what I'm. Just the mere fact talking while I'm doing it and showing you the processes, that makes me very proud actually. Let's go one step above here. Actually, let's do this. Get this. Then what I want to do is erase. We'll just leave these lines within the smaller. And to make them more meaningful, I'm gonna bring another. Yeah, make it look a little dented inward. Bam, building. No, yeah, I really didn't follow the shape here. Let's fix that. Should probably follow this. I was like, maybe it's a different perspective, but it's not. This, that. There we go. Let's change this angle to actually meet this here. And we're good. That's a lot better. There we go. This should probably be good. Nikki, I love how you're doing overlays over your photographs. I have been out comicking my world most days for the last couple of months with my sketchbook. Such an amazing resource. Yes, yes. And there's absolutely every reason in the world to do that, to make use of that. You know, at the end of the day, it's the best inspiration, the best source of information. So now let's do this more complex building. We'll see how that goes here. Have to be confident. There we go. That's not perfect, but it's pretty darn nice. Now, actually, let me put in the elements that are meant to be inside here. So I'm gonna put add a small structure here. Like that. This is the one I made up. So that's a fun one. Now, it's not gonna follow the tilt of the rest of the building, right? That's how you make the tilt look tilty. It's a very easy mistake to make, to go with the tilt, but it's probably not gonna follow that. And then let's add another element onto the rooftop. If I'm already inventing stuff, why not make it look really unique? And a bunch of, I don't even want to say antennas, but just a bunch of cells here and there. Make them somewhat like this. And then I want to add some trees. So I still have not inked trees here. And a big part of it is going to be created by skin tones and kind of finalizing, finishing touches. But just for the sake of it, we'll get the tree here. Sorry, that's closer. One. Then at the back here. So I'm going to soon start adding a bit more greenery here to the rest of the buildings, because I kind of just traced it as I saw it. So Nikki, you've been sketching a lot, I take it. That's a really important thing to practice. Sketching what you see around you. That's like a, always find it useful. Good job on that. And I should probably do this, then delete. That way you get a consistent line going through. And yeah, thank you so much for anyone who's watching this. Really appreciate it. Happy to entertain and maybe teach, a bit new stuff, because this is really different. Again, I'm so focused on the product itself, not so much about lessons. Was this good enough? No, I don't like this. We'll have to wait, this is good. I'll probably, let me try something here. Let's see if I can get it in one. It's gonna be really hard. Oh, that's a nice one. Again, these are the trouble of not doing this traditionally. Traditionally, it would have been much. If I can get this finishing section in one go, that'll be ideal. I think, no, this is annoying. Let's try the other way around. Yeah, better. Get these two parts to meet. Let's actually do this. There we go. Call me undo Liron. And then marker. Again. This. Go. Really nice looking. Sorry. And the other side will be, I think, a little easier. Space Princess, how did you develop the skill to draw landscapes and buildings? Landscapes, actually, a lot of watercolors, believe it or not. Just painting what I see. That was the way I worked on landscapes. Cityscapes were a bit more of a conscious effort. Learn. I made a huge mistake here, actually. This should connect with the internal line. Wait, can I do? Buildings were much more conscious effort, so I put a lot of time into perspective drawing. And it's pretty much what I always say. If you can get to a point where you can draw a box from any angle from imagination, you're in a really good spot to be able to draw pretty much everything. Because that's the basis for almost everything. You can really get a box orientation space, right? So something like here's a box from slightly above and slightly rotated. And then if I want to, let's say, rotate it other way, so I'm going to do this. That. Also tilting it in space, right? From below. This is really the basis for everything here. Everything you see here is based on that, right? Everything. Even the oval shapes. When you have an understanding of boxes, it really helps with that. I would say that's the thing you want to work on as a first step, right? I've been enjoying it ever since I was really young. So I loved, you know, I remember having in third or fourth grade, one of the kids in my class, his mom was the art teacher, and I really enjoyed her lessons. So she taught us 1 point perspective at again, third grade, something like that. It was very helpful. I think I actually was one of the only kids who listened to that lesson, and it paid off. It's not that I relearned pretty much everything back from then, but I'm sure it left some kind of an imprint on me of like, okay, this is how it works. You know, it was a very simple street scene, and I don't even think she showed us how to take into account depth inward. So like you'd have a very common mistake. I don't think she made it as a mistake, but like you'll have a window that is super long, and you think that's how the window looks and that it's a normal window, but it's actually like this because you don't take into consider, or more like this because you don't take into consideration that things that move away are becoming smaller, like that. But it was very basic, but still really good. It didn't take third point perspective at all into consideration, so all the lines parallel. Yeah. This building is going well, right? I think, I mean, this for a building I'm completely made up, that's pretty nice. Let's get this part here, and I wanted to make this part a little thicker right here, a little wider. Sorry, not. Nikki, the tree shapes kind of follows the line of the building and draw your eye upward. Yep, yep. That's meant to all follow the same perspective too. Thank you for the claps. Space Princess, I better start drawing boxes and circles because I have noticed those are the most common shapes needed. Yep, exactly. That's pretty much all you need to... It's pretty amazing how much you'll improve. It's trust me, it's hard to even imagine it, but that was the biggest step for me. Just doing these was huge. It was huge. It makes everything better. The next time you draw a person, you'll imagine their like shoulders as a box. It's crazy how that works. Now let's get rid for a second of... You see, I have a long way to go. But this is fun. The challenge for me, honestly, this is more meta. But a lot of the challenge here for me is that this is something I do that still doesn't really, you know, produce an income, and I don't even know if it will. Because, you know, I really want to just post this online for free just because I want to reach as many people as I can with this. You know, maybe the smarter move would be to sell it, maybe publish with a publisher, which I would consider if someone would be interested. But yeah, I have no idea how, if at all, make any money. And as an artist, I do need to think about that. My full-time thing, devoting a lot of time to it. I could sell printed versions of it, but then, you know, I'll have to ship it myself. That's a bit of a... so yeah, these are all things I'm thinking about, and I don't know exactly how it will all happen. So that's a bit of a challenge there. Maybe once I have a few chapters done, I'll just go ahead and start reaching out to different publishers. Thing is, to know as a beginner, what you need more than everything, more than anything, sorry, is exposure. So if tons of people read this, that's probably a bit more valuable for me. So, and the easiest way to read the manga is just go online and read it. That's how most people can have to think about it. I honestly don't know. I honestly have no idea yet. And I'm okay with doing work for free in a way, like, you know, all the YouTube videos and stuff like that. But this is a project, you know. So I kind of have to make peace with the fact that it's a bit of a different type of project, and that's a good line. And I may reap the rewards later on. You gotta start publishing stuff for people to see anyways. However that happens, I'll be fine. Go. Kind of messed up disconnect here, so I'll probably match. There we go. This should wrap around the buildings. See, this should go here, like that, here, and look at what a beautiful building we created. And this references, why is it? So yeah, really like what this turns in. So what are your artistic plans? You know, anyone who wants to. Are you trying to make art into somewhat of a career, or kind of having fun with it? Is there an aspiration for anyone here to do that kind of a thing? Curious. Very proud of this building. I just made it up. It looks good. Okay. Building in. That. There we go. I would totally buy your manga and support your work. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think so. I think people will buy it, and hopefully it will be good and worth it. It's the question of, do I want to deliver like the best product, like printed, fancy stuff like that, which I'll probably have to do with a publisher, or do I just want to have as many people read it? That's the kind of the challenge for me in terms of thinking about it. Honestly, I'm not sure. Really not sure. I really like the building behind it. A bit disappointing to me that I won't use it. That's okay. Maybe I'll just draw it very lightly as it is. Yeah, so now I'm like, okay, what's next? I have this other huge bombastic building that I did. Nikki, there's a comic graphic novel school I am part of in the States that have a publishing aspect. When you're ready, I can have a chat with you about it. Yeah, cool. Thank you. I have some of my work published with them. Yeah, I'd love that, honestly. Um, if it's, if it has a good reach and do you think they'll be interested, that'll be great. And if you feel like it, if you feel like sending me an email with the name just so that I know who it is, just out of curiosity, feel free to. Experiences, I plan on making a part-time business out of my art. I'm super excited about it, and I would like my work to be local to where, yeah, that's to where you live. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So usually, people find very nice success serving a local audience, whether it's teaching or some kind of a service like doing commissions, stuff like that. It's very connected to the people who live around you, and it's a great idea. Good luck on that. Let me know if you have questions or I can help in a way. Nikki, good question to ask. Maybe do both. Some people will want to have in-hand copy. Yeah, definitely. That would be ideal. Like ideally to me, free for everyone online, and then as a book I sell with a publisher or something like that, and has a very nice kind of wide reach. That'll be ideal. Let's do. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I feel like YouTube becomes really boring. Is becoming really boring recently. Like it's very hard for me to actually find stuff I enjoy, and a lot of the people I'm subscribed to, it just doesn't show as much the recommendations like you. Oh, it's either too repetitive or a bunch of people I'm subscribed to. You just don't see enough updates by annoying. Truth is barking at the wind. Bark at the wind. Bark at it. Let's do another level here. I can almost see it, but I'm just gonna invent it, whether it's there or not. Gonna have some erasing work to do. But yeah, honestly, like having a art, my career is, and I can take a break to work on kinds of projects and have somewhat of an income. It's really huge. Here, this is. I'm playing around, by the way, with a new layout. Let me show you. So, this I can show like where's my here social media and stuff like that. So that's gonna be really fun. If you're just listening, you can look at the screen for a second and you'll see it. So yeah, I like that, and I can kind of passively promote stuff on the sidebar there. I'll probably improve it with time, but yeah. You could have additional extras in the published copy, like design elements or whatever. And yes, I'm getting weird recommendations at the moment. Yeah, or fly page personally signed by you. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, definitely. I would like to have some kind of a perk for people who buy the physical stuff for sure. Yeah, that's definitely something. All of these things, fulfillment, stuff like that. That's a lot of work. So you really have to carefully plan these things out if you want them to happen properly. I could. What some people do is go the complete crowdfunding route, right, and just do a Kickstarter or Indiegogo. The only problem with that is, yes, then you do have to deal with all of the fulfillment, keep a lot of the profit, and I don't know if I'm ready to do that. And there's one more important issue. I'm not in the US, so my shipping costs are going to be insanely high, and that could pose a problem. That's the one thing I have to be very wary of. Most people are going to be in, I guess, US, Europe, and I'm going to ship a lot, and it's going to be expensive. People don't mind paying expensive shipping costs. That's one thing. But do I even want to charge people very high shipping? Well, I'll have to think about it. Another boring aspect that you kind of have to think about, you know. Gotta be careful not to hurt my little robot there. But I love what this looks like together. See, that's really nice. That looks good. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. Maybe probably take a break soon. Hey Pippi, how are you doing? Hope everything is going super well. Yeah, I'm probably almost ready for a break. Tiring. It's fun, but it's tiring. Now this building, I still am not sure how I'm gonna do, so I'll just go for it and see what happens. I feel like these areas should probably be a little fuller. Let's see. I'm gonna combine it into a modern look concept. Oh, I actually have a good idea. Yeah, that's good. That is going to work. So I'm gonna start with this top part of the building, and we'll see how it goes. I'll bring that close so that I remember what reference I'm looking at. Happy to hear. What time is it in your place, Pippi? It's a bit of a different light time, and so this should be thicker. Probably. So I'm getting used to like. Ooh, that was actually a good line. Let's keep that. So yeah, I'm still figuring out what times work. Oh, I remember. I can just mirror. That's such a tough line. Let's do it. Yeah, so it's a little wobbly. That's some inaccuracies. I mean, you have to just accept. Okay, it's gonna be perfect. But I want it to be perfect in the right spots. You know what I mean? I want it to look good in the right spot. Down. Good. That's good enough. Let's do a bit. Yeah, that's good. I don't mind a bit of inorganic, organic inaccuracy. Here it's 11:20 a.m. Oh, cool. So you're 1 hour behind us. I'm 12:20. Nikki, what country are you in, Pippi? It's 10:22 a.m. here in New Zealand. Yeah, we're really close in terms of time. And I always, the US is pampered. You know, all of the live streams are aimed to make sure the US can join, but I have to do more of it. Sure. Let's a little rounded. And then here, do I want it like this or a bit round? I think I will maintain that round. That looks good. And then let's see if I can put in a few of these just for perspective sake so that I can see it, and then I'll just speak. There we go. This looks pretty neat. Now let's mirror it back and make sure it looks okay. Yeah, that looks really nice. I love these kinds of rounded shapes. Actually, I wanted to show a bit of the front, that, and a bit of the side here. The broken line. There we go. Look at that. Like, these are the types of things that are really fun to invent. Do you use pen or your... No, of course, pen. I would never be able to draw so accurately with a mouse. Let me show you. Let me try and do something with the mouse. There's no way. No way. No, it's inhumane to try and draw this kind of a thing with a mouse. Want accuracy, you need pen for it. Okay, so I actually like the idea of a bit of a rounded corner building, so let's do that. See, I'm really improvising now. I'm working off of very little pencil line information. But because I am pretty used to cityscapes by now, I can kind of wing it and it will look good. So, yep, that's what we're... And then, how should I put the foliage? That's what I'm wondering. Let's see if I can get it. So, this, that, undo button, undo, 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 all day long. I'm gonna divide this thing into floors. That's gonna be really fun. You'll see in a second. We'll figure out how to get it to out. Space Princess drawing with a mouse is like going back to the early 2000s. Yeah, and using MS Paint, right? That's so hard. I did it as a kid. I used to do that quite a bit. I even wrote a bit as a kid now. Remember, I wrote a story or two. But yeah, it's rough. Okay, now dividing it into floors. So let me think it through. Let's get the middle down and then we'll somewhere. Now, am I good with perspective? No, I'm not. So let's fix that. A bit better. Here, middle here. Cool. Yeah, that should work. Then I'm going to this. I really need to start closing my... There we go. And it's funny, I said and sometimes I'll get a comment on a super old video where half of my, I don't have camera skills, so I'm like and like all the time, and then I'm like, hopefully I improved by now. This video is from 2015. So funny. Yeah, I'm wondering how I should do the floors, honestly. So yeah, I'll go with edit like this. And then this goes here. Well, we're trying. We'll see how that... We're experimenting. This is quite close to us, and I wanted to show... Sorry for the stupid question. It just looked as if you were using a lot of your forearm to get the shapes. Oh no, it's not a stupid question at all. Yeah, I'm using actually a lot of my forearm, though. You are right. That's a good observation. Because to get the long straight lines, it's one of the easier ways, Okay, now look at what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna remove this from here, and you'll see. I'm gonna make this really, really nice. We'll remove this. We'll remove that. Essentially, I'm dividing it into floors. I'm not gonna do this for the entire building, just for that top section. First off, quality check, yeah. I think I actually got a lot of these lines really crooked, so let me fix that. All of these. It's really hard to keep track of perspective. this should probably be more. It's okay, you can fix mistakes. And then in the middle, we have this line that's really rogue. I'm gonna fix those more with the angle. That's a little better. And let's bring it back to the original position. See, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Then what I'm gonna do is this line annoys me. This line here should be more like get rid of. Gotta make these changes sometimes. Gonna get the perspective to look correct. There we go. That's much better. But still, this is crooked. This is crooked too, you know? That's annoying. Let me do this. I'm gonna get rid of all of these lines. I'm brutal. I have to be. Because I've been following a wrong vertical line, which is sad, but that's okay. Now let me switch over to here. I'm gonna use this. Get the straight lines here. And a bit of a weird bug with video paint. Happens sometimes. And this is much better. That building will take some work, as you can see. These lines seem decent enough, aside from. And these two don't match. Should I just redo all of these? I think I'll read. No, these are good. These are good. These are annoying. Those. I just used Procreate, so I was wondering. And do you use it with a mouse? By the way, I just got an Apple Pen, so I can install Clip Studio Paint on the iPad and work from there too. So that's really fun. That way I can ink in the living room. Nice. Because right now I'm really strapped to the computer to do these. I'm suspecting I'll have to. The gaps annoy me. Okay, let's grab these two here. These are all things I should have figured out at the pencil stage, right? But unfortunately I haven't, so here we go. And I had to go with this weird, not octagonal, but I don't know what that shape. So better. Then these two. Now, sometimes when you have so many corrections, it just makes sense to start from the beginning, but I'm okay. I think it's okay. Now we can get to the fun part, finally, after all of these touches. Once I add screen tones to that area, it will look cleaner, let's say. D-Sauce, hey Liron, first time tuning into your stream. Is that profile picture somehow related to Vsauce, which is a big YouTube channel? I'm not sure. Let me know. No, I use Procreate with an Apple Pencil. Okay, I see. Yeah. Second generation. That's the one I just got. Really excited for that. I like the big screen, but something comfortable about holding the iPad. So I think it was a good call to get it. So on to the next stage. Okay, we're finally here. So I'm gonna get rid of these lines in between the floors, and we're gonna fill in these floors with lush trees, vegetation, and so on. So this will be fun. All of these steps just so that we can do that. This one. Good. Now let me look at my reference I wanted to use for, and I'll probably need to do a lot of erasing for the next steps as well. So I'll just draw the vegetation. I'll draw it in a separate layer and then we'll combine them. So I will switch and I just want to go back to the live stream. Yeah, so it is Vsauce. That's fun. First time tuning into your stream. Oh, thank you so much. But you did watch videos, right? So I think I saw a comment from you a while ago. Let me know. But thank you for being here. That's cool. Is this time better for you? Which is why you tuned in for the first time? Or just happenstance? Let me know. I will try doing more of the times that some people usually have a hard time. So let's see what this looks like. I get rid of some of the ink here and let this plantation breathe a bit. That's the idea I had in mind. See? Something like that. We'll just fill in the entire, like everything with drooping kind of nice little vegetation. And the advantage of doing these in a separate layer is that I can very easily erase, just erase very freely, get rid of what's unnecessary. What is the reference building? So I made up the building, but for reference, you won't believe it. You'll get a kick out of it. Let me show you what reference I'm using for the plantation, because it really has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. But I somehow made the connection. Let me show you. You'll get a kick out of it. Browse. Photos. There you go. So I'm using this as the idea and reference for the vegetation here, which is funny, because it really is just an idea. It isn't really, been checking out of YouTube vids while on a sketch break. Okay, and you happen to been checking out for YouTube vids while on a sketch break. You happen to stream. Oh, that's cool. It's funny. Oh, how fun is it to sketch? Sorry, you want a break from work or just, your own kind of free time? Look at how nice, like I can go to the extreme here and really drop this vegetation lower. And the funny thing is, with the right, again, screen tones, it's gonna look really good. Vegetation tends to be darker, actually, darker value. The greens, sometimes they can be misleadingly light, but very often they'll be very, very dark. So that's probably how I'll convey these. And maybe black behind them, we'll figure it out. I'll add some black values later on. Add some texture to it. Now this will be the final ink. I know it's a bit sketchy, but in a good way, I think. And I will remove this. Everything that's behind, right? That's that the vegetation is obscuring. You can actually leave some of it where there's none. Like you can do this and then get a feeling that like there's an actual foliage or something. But all these clever tricks really help to convey whatever it is you're trying to convey. That's honestly a very basic way of conveying foliage. Very straightforward. That's how I do it. Not too cool. From college research. Cool. Let us know. Feel free to let us know what you're researching. And is it fun? Because I know some people, when they're at, I don't know if it's a stage or research or like a thesis or something like that. I know a lot of people are nearly driven to insanity because it's a lot of hard work. I never went to college or anything. I don't know, university. Yeah, that's what people go to usually, but I never have, so I don't know what's going on in there. So yeah, see, I think this looks good. Now, one thing I do need to probably get rid of is these lines here that I didn't take into consideration. So let's see. If the vegetation goes around to the back, this is a really nice effect too that I've kind of thought I may need, but then I didn't go with. Goes all the way to back here. That's wrong. Here. Then we can get rid of yep. I think. I mean, there should be some support, but I'll add it later on. Or you know what? Think about it. So if I get rid of this for sure. Oh, right. Get rid of it and then we'll figure it out. See, sometimes you have to really pause and think. Yeah, that's way more lush looking. Better. And I do want to make these lines a little thick. Taking up way too much space. And yeah, all of this work, and look where we are. There's still a long way to go. But is it gonna look awesome? I think it will. I think it will. Very sap green plants, yes. Thank you, Nikki. I'm happy you like it. Thank you, PP. It's an architecture feasibility study on a courthouse building in our town. Oh, that's cool. That's really nice. Okay, so that's interesting. So I don't know if you study architecture or something tangential to that, but that's really cool. And it's funny that you're here in the stream where I'm doing a bunch of these kinds of sketches. That's cool. Michael G. Hey, Liron, always fun to catch you live. Can you maybe loosen up your gate on the microphone? You're kind of clipping. Really interesting. It looks good to me, and I'm kind of far away from it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I actually added an effect to it. Let me see if I can fix that. Filters, because sometimes it's very noisy from outside. And I actually added a noise gate. So should I open up the gate? So actually, let me monitor myself for a second here, because I'm not sure what I need to do, but if I hear it, I'll know. Monitor and output. Blah, blah, blah. Test, test, test. Here. Blah, 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 blah. So clipping, I'm actually clipping. I'm not sure. Yeah, coincidentally, I'm doing a building sketch. Michael, let me know. So I have a close threshold and an open threshold. The close is minus 32. Let's try lowering it, I guess. And the open is minus 26. Because I'm actually not sure what I should do here. So let me know. Let me know if I should narrow it, widen it. Or yeah, I'm just we'll see. We'll see. Let me know if the audio is still, because I changed a few things, but let me know if you can still hear me well. And let me get rid of the monitoring, because there's an ever so slightly delay that really bugs me. But yeah. So I think we can now lower the open threshold a bit. Okay, let's never know how to, like, what the right thing is. Lower the threshold. So lower it. Effects. Lower the open. So the open is minus 26. So make it even like lower, minus 30, or make it high. You know what I mean? I did minus 32 as well. I don't know. Hopefully that works. One day I just had. Oh, okay, okay. Now I hear the difference. Okay, but now there's more background noise, right? So let me see here. Blah, 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 test. Test. Okay, I put it to 30 for now. Hopefully that works. Because one day I remember there was such heavy noise from the outside, and I was like, okay, I need to shut that down. But yeah, hopefully now it's better. Nikki, lol, me neither. Always good to have some around who's more tech savvy. Yeah, I don't know why. I got a very specific things I'm good at. 69 mega. You are now completely hidden. Bye bye. Yeah. Hopefully that'll eliminate that bot. But yeah. So now I'm looking at the perspective and I'm like, did I mess something up? Let's see here. I think it's okay. I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. So, yeah, I'm very, I don't know why my skills are very selective in terms of what they allow me to be good at in terms of technical stuff. I don't know why I'm like that. Oh, now I need to combine these layers. So I'm going to do Control E, and I have one layer for this. That's really good. Yeah, by sparrows, yeah. Pippi, did you lay the reference photo behind the drawing? Do you think that's okay? I always feel like cheating when I'm doing it. I always think you should be able to draw everything by myself. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely, you should not know how to draw everything by yourself. That's just not how it works. The way I look at it is some things definitely not from imagination. So like I like to look at things to look at a lot of references to make sure I'm drawing them accurately, and the level it takes to just do out of imagination entirety is outside of this world, so I don't beat myself too hard for using a lot of references. The thing is, so it depends on where you get the photo from. So if you really edit it to work, or you use something that is very organic. So for example, if you go to Pixabay, you get a photo that you are allowed to use or whatever, and then you do some manipulation on it, and then you sketch based on it. Like that's super fine. And most of the mangas that you see that have these super duper tight realistic cityscapes and things like that, they are, I'm sure, like 90% they trace backgrounds. They even sell you books with references that you can print out and trace. That's a very common practice, just because it's very very hard to come up with so many details and so much information on your own. It's nearly impossible, and it's very time ineffective. It takes so long that at some point you have to wonder, like, am I just wasting time doing all of this work? And I think very often you are. And you can do it much better and produce a better result. Like, there's literally no downside. The only downside, really, if you look at it, is, am I working on honing my skills, right? Am I actually improving and getting better, generally speaking? And I definitely feel like I am. So I'm okay with that. And like, look at what I'm doing now. I'm using a tool to draw straight lines. So is this cheating? You know, yeah, you have to at some point let the art's needs guide you. And if the art needs for you to be super detailed and accurate, you have to give it what it needs. No? Those are my thoughts. So where's that parallel? It's gonna be here, right? So I want to show that, you know, this still is kind of a building. This goes here, this goes, so around here would be good. And we gave it some kind of a feeling like it's a building. I think this line's a little off. Figure it out. I think it should be a little more open like that. Good. And now we're gonna mirror the whole thing. Make sure it looks halfway decent. Good. I will probably preserve that same shape we did here. Let's see. I'm having a lot of fun, so I'm just continuing this stream. Like, feel free if anyone needs to dip out, or, you know, actually see some people joining us. So thank you so much for being here. Let's see what you're saying. DSOS, gotta ask, did you take part in Inktober? Me personally, no. I didn't do Inktober, I didn't do Washtober, none of that. I do plan on doing a video featuring some of the best in art that people did in Washtober. But yeah, I really did not take part in any. I don't know. I'm way too busy. I have so many other projects. I mean, it's great if art is your hobby and that's your opportunity to create a lot. But I'm drawing all day long anyway, so no. Nikki, really enjoying just hanging out. Nice way to unwind at the end of the day. Going to get a coffee. Yeah, definitely. I will probably be here when you're back. Um, PP, that's taking a lot of pressure from me. Yeah, I'm happy to hear. Michael G, it's better now. If you want to get rid of the background noise, try and get the mic closer to you. That way your voice overpowers. Yeah, I can do that actually. Let me mute first, because otherwise it's going to be a disaster. 1 second. Yeah, so maybe now it's better, hopefully. Yeah, one time I did a live stream and I dragged the arm and it went like such an annoying noise. Yep. By the way, I got rid of that last line because I want to try something out here. Yeah, so this is my vertical. Good. I actually have a nice guide there, so I want to try out this and then to leave this kind of a ledge here. A bit of that, just to give it a bit of a 3D, look. This, and from here, I could probably then do the line I initially had in mind. This bug is really annoying. They should probably get it fixed. And this would dip back and then go like straight line like this, and then just a straight line down here, and this is gonna move inside here, and we got a nice little shape. Let's get rid of the background for a second here. From the sketch, I mean. Where is my sketch? Darn it. There we go. Okay, good. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll do a bit of another parallel line because I want to show that it dips in. So something like that. And same kind of a thing we'll do here. Yep. And this is actually, so this building has an interesting shape because it goes up, back. So how should I explain this? This line, and this line, right? They're at an angle. But these two are parallel. These are parallel, these aren't. So if you look at it from above, it's gonna look something like this. Probably. So yeah, just to explain. And then this line should be thinner. And this should be slightly thicker. And this will connect to here. And then we can probably get rid of this and bring it more in. So you see, that's how you kind of build in, and everything is based on boxes and all sorts of shapes like this. Then we get the external line. That was annoying, thank you. External, and from here back to there. And we pretty much got the building down. The general shape, right, before I'm adding more details. And hopefully it will just work in the context of this entire view. I think it should be okay. By the way, mess this one up here. Oh, and I haven't even completed this building. I need to add the windows. I completely forgot about those. Let's jump and do that now. I don't mind jumping from one thing to another. Yeah, I got in the mood to and hey, Nuclear Pancake. Yeah, I got in the mood to sketch since it's been months since the last time I sketched due to college work. Tommaso, hi. Started to follow your work because I fell in love with watercolor, but I'm not sure how I like this kind of work. Yeah, it's completely different. And it's very, again, gritty and kind of repetitive in a way. But I have a bigger vision for it, so I have the patience to handle it. But yeah, it's a lot of work. This kind of thing, it's very different from watercolor and from my style of watercolor. What you have to understand is I paint impressionistic watercolors. And this is not impressionistic. This is details, accurate details. You can't wing it. You can't paint the shapes. You need to actually sketch the lines. Which is why many people who do more watercolor and especially impressionistic style are gonna have a hard time with this. And honestly, I feel so happy that I'm doing both because I have good practice. You know, it's a really great way of practicing for me. So yeah, and yeah, I'm not offended by it. It's just completely different style. I mean, you don't like it. Definitely don't paint this style, or don't sketch or draw this style. Very, very different. Kind of messing up the directions here. So my plan is again to draw these and then erase, right? That way I get better continuity with the lines. Like that. And then we can go ahead and erase. It's just a better way to go about this. Oopsie, that was really bad. It's fun. I didn't even think about it, but I'm filming the process, so I'll have something to look at. Wow, this is really annoying. I should have just drawn them separately, but that's okay. I think my eraser size isn't ideal for what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I mean, you can't compare what I'm doing right now to watercolor. Is completely different. And yeah, I'll have to get rid of all of this too. So we'll do that now. Got art block. Yeah, this happens. I'll talk about it again. I mentioned this before. I'll talk about it in tomorrow's video. Tomorrow there's going to be a video addressing this issue, which is a very common thing. Taking a break and feeling bad about it, or like your skills are hurt by it and all of that good stuff. We're going to address it. We're going to talk about it. You know what? I can just do this probably. Let's give it a try. So if I do this all the way to the back, probably I should be okay. All of these little shortcuts to get the result you want. It's so funny. Sorry for the dead air. There's going to be quite a bit of it whenever I really need to focus. And then delete. Voila. Check this out. Love this building. Pretty proud of myself for getting it to look like that. There we go. Oh, the chat's becoming active. Thank you, Tommaso. Yeah. I feel that one can learn a lot about perspective watching you drawing here. Yeah, that's even useful for. Yeah, and you'll always work, and this is something I'm gonna create a perspective drawing course soon. There is a way to move around space. So you'll find that if you have this box, again, that I mentioned, you can travel across it using your knowledge of three-dimensionality. So if you want to find this height on a different corner, you just travel across the different directions that the cube poses. And you can travel across all of these lines that follow perspective and draw all of these beautiful, you know, patterns and shapes and reach every point in the space. So what I'm doing right now is I'm always having that in mind. So when I look at this separator between the windows, I know that it should follow this perspective, right? So I'll be following that. So I'll do this, right? And that actually looks good. So I'll keep it. First attempt. That's very nice. Same here. I'm gonna follow that same perspective. So that's a little crooked again. There we go. Oh, that's still not it. Here are the airplanes in the background. I don't know if it comes through, but yeah, this looks great. And then we'll have this line meet this line. And should we have a division here? Maybe let's get a few of these windows in, or not. You know, I actually like it here. And this goes here. Yeah, that's good. This goes here and travels back like that. And we pretty much got that building done. How is that? Yeah. That's so loud. Now let me make this a little more in line with our perspective. So there we go. And get rid of this and continue that like so. I think it's a lot more accurate now. Not the end of the world. Small correction. There we go. Better. Nice. I like that a lot. I feel like this line is actually spilling out a bit, you know? Let me fix that too. So that should probably go more in, like that. And I'll correct this one while I'm at it. Well, these are really minor changes, but I think in the overall impression it will make a difference. So there we go. I think maybe I'll just ditch the watercolor animation work for today because I'm really enjoying this. I don't know. Let's get a simpler building and then we'll be back to this main one. Just as a small break. Let's see here. Good. So we'll do this one. Oops, didn't mean to move the layer there. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay. Now I'm freehanding some of these lines. And you know, the smaller the details get, the more you can kind of improvise, honestly. So I'll probably just improvise some of these details here. Paying attention to perspective, but I'm not a complete slave to it. So it's okay if it's not perfect. Let's actually erase first and then. That's a bit lazy. Let me fix that. Every time you try to cut corners, you're reminded of how it's not always the quickest way to succeed. There we go. It's better. And then this goes back here and connects here and goes here. And yep, that's better. And then I'm gonna do the front of the building at an angle. So it's gonna be like this. Gonna dip back just a bit. Ooh, my stomach now really rumbled. I think I'll take a break soon to eat. There we go, all the way down. See if it looks decent. Yeah, that's okay. That's forgivable. Got a little connection there. And then from the front, we're following that same kind of direction all the way down our canvas. So, and then it's all about these, you know, small lines and however you want to portray them. I'll erase the ones that go over it later on. There we go. Yeah, that makes sense. Because that building is going to be quite random. It's okay that the gaps are a little random too. Let's see what. Yeah, that'll have to work. So And let's get rid of these lines in between. This is actually crucial. You still want to keep it quite loose, but some things you have to. And let me see what you're writing there in the chat in a second. Make sure this looks good. There we go. Oh, we managed to do quite a lot here. Yeah, that should work. That should work. Well, got some ways to go. But yeah, I'm gonna go over around, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see, around this line. Around this area, and then it's gonna get much looser. So yeah, I'm a little tired. I think I'll take a break and actually eat something. Ooh, why am I not seeing... Okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I think it's a good point to take a break. Super hungry. Let's see again. I'm gonna just catch up with some of what you wrote, and we'll wrap it up. These says I'm an architecture student, but I still find perspective sketches hard. It's challenging, but you definitely learn a lot from it. Yeah. Tommaso, I just love to watch his nasty palette. I hear it's too clean. Yeah. The whole, it's much more organic. The physical real life things I have here are much more organic than this clean little canvas. It's a very different style. How long will it take to finish this whole thing? If by this whole thing you mean this specific panel, probably 2 hours of work, if I had to guess. Maybe even 3. This whole page, another day or 2. But then hopefully I can get to a pace where a page takes me like 2 days, 3 days. So it sounds like a long time, but I mean 2 years if I finish 282 pages. Either I publish it all together or in chapters. I mean, that's not too bad, 2 years, I guess. But yeah. Hey Jukila or Yukila, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Thank you for being here. Pipi, will you leave it black and white or color it on? So that page I've shown you, which I can open up for you to see here, is colorful, right? This page. But that's just because it's the first page. Once I'm done with that first page, so this second one is going to be black and white. I'm going to keep it black and white. Probably use the same tones you see here. Maybe apply new ones. We'll see. Maybe I'll apply my own. But yeah, it's probably going to be black and white from this point onwards. I may decide to paint this because it has some nice views in it. Maybe I'll decide to paint this one myself. This entire 2-page spread. Let me zoom out just a tiny bit so you can see. Right, because it has some nice little. I'm showing tomatoes growing and stuff like that. It has some nice colors, so maybe this will also be color. But the vast majority of it, for sure, the page after that is going to be black and white. It's way too much work to do everything in color. And manga is traditionally done black and white. Space Princess, yes, please go eat Rick. Yeah, definitely. Have a good one. Thank you, Tommaso, for being here. Thank you, PP. Thank you again, Yukila. Thank you, Nikki, for being here. Thank you, D-Sauce. Just scrolling to see who else was here. Thank you, Michael G. Sorry if I forgot anyone. Thank you, 69 Mega, who I deleted because it was spam. El Pigapo to me is, hey, just came back from school. Yeah, I saw your message earlier, forgot to read it, but thank you for being here. And yeah, we'll talk to you again soon. I'm going to definitely do these ones on a spontaneous basis in these hours. But we'll do a more proper, like, QA, critiquing your paintings and so on. Different times that make sense more for Australia, Europe, I guess even like Japan and China even. I don't know if I have any viewers from China, but hopefully I do. And yeah, thank you so much, and I will talk to you again in tomorrow's video. You'll see me in tomorrow's video and this week's live stream and all of that good stuff. So we'll talk to you again soon.